down so low, but I'm never gonna go there again. This is what it is, this is who I am, this is where I finally take my stand. I didn't want to fall, but I don't have to crawl. I'm not the one with two scarred hands, giving him the best of everything that's left of the life inside this man. I've been born again.
Yes, David.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, your mic is on this week.
I am on.
You can feel blessed.
Do you hear the words coming out of my mouth?
I've been so bad. And the red light is on. We're actually live on more than Facebook.
Yeah.
I just realized as we were talking earlier that we run a Facebook live feed, and it's always on even before we begin the Podbean and the other Fresh Black Coffee broadcasts. And so we tend, I'm just shooting all kinds of stuff at Dave, and he's talking, it's just chit chat before. And I never realized that until last week. I happened to be on Facebook and I saw it popped up, and I realized, oh my goodness, are you serious? All of this is actually going out. And there were people actually watching. There's people probably watching right now. We have an audience. And so I said, I have to be careful what I say.
Yeah. And to our podcasting audience, if you want to watch us live, basically about 11 a.m. Central Time every Saturday morning, give or take.
11-ish.
11-ish, yes. It's kind of ish right now. But, yeah, join us live. Now, the sound isn't going to be that great. It's going to be like...
Well, I was surprised at how good it was.
Yeah, it's
it was
better.
really... Yeah, I mean... we're loud talkers.
Yeah.
As the Seinfeld, one of those episodes, the loud talkers.
When you're from a family of 11, you talk loud.
Well, I'm from a family of one, and I'm a loud talker. I've always been the one in school that got in trouble. Eddie.
Yeah.
I'm the guy in the back of the class. Eddie. You know? And when we first moved to Europe to join Youth with a Mission, we lived on this farm. And it was a training base. We took our discipleship training school. And so we're on this training base, and we would have these, every Friday night, you had this special dinner, and you would dress up, and we'd all eat, and they'd have everything decked out. You know, still wasn't fantastic food. It was missionary life. But it was a special, I mean, for us, it was great. You know, more than soup and cow tongue. Yeah. Which was a normal fare.
A lot of people love cow tongue.
Yeah. We weren't one of them, you know, but or among them. So, but we had people from all over the world. So there was at our table we tended to be with the Aussies, Australians, and New Zealanders, a lot of them. And
the Kiwis.
Yeah, the Kiwis, right. And so there was this one New Zealander, Jonathan was his name, and so he and I were the loud talkers. I mean, we were like, and the Dutch people just, they couldn't handle it, you know. Yeah. We'd have the matriarchs of the community. There were probably 500 people in this community. We had big, giant dining hall. Yeah. And so they were running around, they said, please, could you please hold it down? Oh, yeah. You know, and we were just doing everything we could to possess our vessels, to not revert to third grade and want to tell her how we really felt, you know. Yeah. But it was just the American, I guess, the Kiwi way that we just, you know, want to. I mean, it was a good. And the other thing, if you've never had Dutch coffee, like if you're used to American coffee, and you go to Holland. Dutch coffee is about 20 times as strong. Oh. In fact, when we first came back for our first furlough, so it was Saturday morning, I get up, my mother has coffee ready, and so I grab and pour a cup of my mother's coffee, and I almost spit it on the floor because it tasted so horrible. It was just like coffee-flavored dishwater. But because the Dutch coffee is so strong.
Now, your mother's German.
Right.
But she likes the Dutch coffee.
No. This was in Texas.
Oh, okay.
And so she had a Mr. Coffee. She was just making American coffee. Yeah. You know, whatever the normal thing is. Yeah. But it's so weak. Yeah. It tasted horrible. And
because it was weak. Okay.
And so and all of a sudden I'd gotten used to the Dutch coffee, right? I'd gotten used to the Dutch coffee, and I almost spit the American stuff, the Folgers or whatever it was, Maxwell House. By the way, that's not bad coffee. I'm not doing a Folgers or Mac, but I'm not disparaging. It's actually good coffee, but it was just you don't use enough of it. Yeah. And so anyway, I was just not used to it, and so we're loaded up on this high octane coffee on a Friday night after a week, and we're just on fire. Us, I was 30 years old, and Jonathan was probably 25, 26. And wives and kids and all these people, and we're all happy, and we're having a good time. Yeah. And the staid Dutch people, they're very reserved. They're not a very outgoing people. They hold it in until they come to America. Alto, our friend Alto, and a couple of others here. When they get here, they let loose. Then all of a sudden, they let it go too. But anyway, they're very opinionated. They have high opinions and things like this. Yeah. But anyway, but that's what happened. We would get fired up, and that coffee, man, it just really fired us up. But it was good. Douwe Egberts, you would call it Dewey Egberts here. You may have seen it, Dewey Egberts coffee. You can get it. There's some machines I've seen that you can find the Dewey Egberts coffee, and there's different labels of it. You get a white, there's a white package, there's a blue, I think, but the gold is the best. The gold.
This, you gave me some to sample last winter. It's in my top 3 coffees. The medium roast or Ugandan mist.
Oh, it is. Really no. I mean, that is good stuff. I mean, I don't just say, that really is. That's why I started importing it, because it really is. It's strong, but it's so smooth. There's no bite. That's the thing.
Smooth, no bitterness.
Right. That's what you can make it as strong as you want. It doesn't, the like Starbucks, it'll bite your tongue. Oh, yeah. On the sides, dips.
Yeah, acidy.
Acidy, yeah. In fact, I find somebody told me they burn it, and I think they use Robusta beans instead of the Arabica. But anyway, even the Robusta, Ugandan Robusta is good. But we're diverging. Yes. So,
well, I got to ask you a question on something you said. Now, you were born in Germany.
Born in Germany.
Okay. So your first language is German, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you agree with me?
I don't know.
It is my contention that the German language was created to give men an excuse to clear the phlegm out of their throat.
No, that's Dutch. And Flemish, your language.
No, Flemish is more French than anything.
No, the Flams. But Belgium is split in the middle. The north is Dutch. The Flemish is actually the Dutch, and the southern part is the French part. Right. So,
but primarily is French. French is commonly spoken all over Belgium today.
Well, it's because they have to.
Well, the Flemish are a minority there.
Right. You just said it. The Flemish are a minority, which is the Dutch speakers.
Right.
And where does phlegm? What is the first part of Flemish?
Yeah, right.
Phlegm.
But it's spelled differently.
I know. I'm messing.
He's taking advantage of the ignorant folk watching the show.
It's like that commercial with Peyton Manning and what's his name, David Beckham, where he gets David Beckham.
Potato crisp.
He says soccer.
You said it.
Yeah, wait, he got you.
Yeah,
it's got and David goes.
But it's like the first time I said asinine in high school, the teacher thought I cussed. So use vulgar language.
And she's supposed to be a teacher.
I know.
But anyway, see, German is all from the front of the mouth.
Except for
No. Like, Achtung, Achtung, ach. It comes from the front. Like, I know it's hard, probably. Okay, now the Dutch, dag meneer.
Oh, okay.
Hoe gaat het met jou? gefeliciteerd. It's Dutch. That's from Holland and Belgium.
Okay.
That's the.
Okay, so I've been blaming the Germans for English language.
Thank you for apologizing on behalf of half of my people.
Now you're I'm 3/8 German. I'm almost as German as you.
Man, you're everything. You're every man and woman.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Now, patriarchally.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
I plan to come in and get down to just go through it. You're in a hurry today. You got things to do, places to go, people to see. And here we are again, off on a rabbit.
Can I tell you why I'm glad and not glad I'm a teetotaler?
Okay.
I got 2 of each.
All right.
Now,
do you mind if I have my Coca-Cola coffee?
There you go. Yes, product placement here.
Dark blend, by the way.
So, when I say teetotaler, it's my choice, and there's no sin to anybody else who does these things that I don't do. But I choose not to drink alcohol socially. If it's in a medicine or trace in a food.
Do you drink it non-socially?
Yeah, right.
I've
had to have NyQuil.
Curious minds want to know.
I've had NyQuil once in a while, which has alcohol in it.
Why don't you just go straight for the Everclear?
Yeah, really.
It'll just clear up all that phlegm.
But I don't smoke tobacco. I haven't smoked pot either since I was a teenager. But I don't. And you know what? I don't gamble. But that leads me to the number one reason I'm glad I live the way I do.
Okay.
I won a lottery this morning, a $2 payout for not buying a ticket.
For not buying.
Every time I don't buy a ticket, I win a $2 jackpot.
Oh, okay. So if you add up every week that you didn't buy a lottery ticket, you've made money.
There you go.
Okay.
See, I get to keep money. I drove by the casino. I kept going and ching.
You just saved yourself $100.
Who knows?
At least.
I drove by the tavern and I kept going, and I'm already doing stupid enough stuff without alcohol. So those are 2 good.
Never thought about it that way, but hey, listen, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Now, the downside.
Uh-oh.
When a teetotaler wakes up in the morning, that's as good as he's going to feel all day.
Oh, I don't know about that. There's some other vices and non-vices that can make you feel good.
But the guy with the hangover has a hope that eventually he'll feel better.
Or not.
And then the second thing, I have to be diligent on personal hygiene because I don't have the reek of tobacco smoke to cover up body odor.
There you go. But the reek of tobacco smoke is not a...
No, I know it.
Not a good thing.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of things that...
Yeah.
All right,
so there
Dave,
you go.
Well, thank you for that.
Like the teetotaler, the good and the bad.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Wow. Okay, moving right along. Hey, by the way, I do want to mention one of our sponsors, and that's the Low T Center, which, by the way, has been bought. It's been bought.
Integris, I hear.
Yeah.
No.
So you keep your ear to the ground.
Well, you said so last week.
Or did I mention that?
Yeah, you
last
mentioned
week?
Integris.
Oh, okay.
So Integris, that's a familiar name. Why would I know that name?
I have no
Don't
idea.
they own hospitals?
Yeah, that's true. Integris Health.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if that one of the local hospitals.
Not here in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Oklahoma City Integris is Integris Health Systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't know if Integris Health Systems is also taking over Low T or not. But I'll tell you what, Low T was actually founded by one man, a doctor.
Yeah, good doctor.
And boy, that guy, he sure ka-ching.
Sure.
And I guess he got tired. He cashed in.
Yeah.
Sold it. He's made more money than.
Yeah. In fact, I was talking. I had an appointment to see my doctor, a follow up because of the flu last, Christmas time, and he and I have talked a little bit business on it. He runs an independent clinic, Jinx Family Physicians, and I can't tell you how important I believe it is that we have clinics that aren't owned by hospitals.
Yeah.
Because about 80% of the clinics in Tulsa metro area are either owned by St. John's or Hillcrest or
you're right. You're right. In fact, I have to say, I have just changed doctors. Mm-hmm. I've gone to a private, independent family. How I got there is through my mother.
Mm-hmm.
we took my mother to a new doctor.
Yeah.
Who was recommended by someone my wife goes to Lifetime Fitness with. And her husband's in medical supplies. He does medical, but they recommended. And man, we went in. It's a Vietnamese doctor. Vietnamese origin. He's an American, actually. Vietnamese name. He served in the military. He was a military doctor and everything. Yeah. But anyway, went in, and I was so impressed by this doctor in his office.
Yeah.
It was like going back to the 40s. You go into this office, and his office manager welcomes you in, sits there and chats with you, takes your information, and please be seated. His nurse is his wife, who's Vietnamese. Now, she is really Vietnamese. She speaks the Vietnamese broken. I guess he went to the home country and found him a wife. Yep. Yeah, very elegant, dressed to the T, just kind of a nice dress and everything, really dressed. And then we waited maybe 10 minutes till the person before us came. The wife came in, took my mother's vitals, did everything, welcomed us, which is so sweet to my mother. Then the doctor came in, and man, he just took his time. And it's like he knew, he knew as soon as he asked what all the problems were, he knew everything immediately.
Wow.
And I was just blown away. So what I did, that was on a Friday. That Monday, I transferred all of my stuff over to his office. It's covered by my insurance.
Good.
But he's independent. So he, whatever network you're with, he's with that network. Yeah. And, but no, I'm very impressed because these others, you go in, you have to wait. The receptionists are usually unfriendly. It's very impersonal. Okay. Let me see your card. Let me fill out this about your insurance. You got this, it's so cold. Yeah. Just impersonal. Yeah. And then you're sitting out there, you're waiting 30, and then they get you in the exam room, and you sit there 30 or 40 minutes. Oh, I know it. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Why didn't you leave me out in the waiting room to watch TV at least?
There you go. Yeah.
Until he's ready. I don't want to sit back here, all by myself. Thank God for cell phones. Yep. You can at least play games or tweet or check your Facebook postings or, whatever you want to do. Yeah. Check your emails, or if you're working, work on your thing. But in the old day, you just had to sit back there and look at the diagrams on the doctor's walls back there, for 30, 40 minutes. I've actually spent an hour back there just waiting in the actual exam room until the doctor got to you and you hear stuff going on. You know what I'm talking about. But no, I'm really happy about this. But this is starting to happen. You're starting to see a little more of this. My wife, her doctor, we found, used to be with one of the hospital groups, not the St. Francis St. John's group, but another one. And she left as well. The doctor did, and she now is independent. And this doctor is younger, a woman, and she has medical degrees from UCLA, University of Chicago, and several. She's got like 6 degrees. Wow, unbelievable! And she's an internist, which is a specialist. Yeah. Well, general practitioner. Family medicine is an internist. That's basically what an internist is. It's like a waste management specialist, which is your garbage man, the new name. But
it counts as a board specialty, though.
I know, but we know what it is. Yeah. But she's also an OBGYN. Good. So just think, if as a female, she ticks all those boxes. But she literally takes an hour with you, with the females. Yep. I have recommended so many women go see her, and they're all so happy that they've started recommending their friends that now sorry, ladies, she's booked up.
I'll bet she is.
You can't get
if you can only see about 7 a day.
you can't get in there anymore.
Right.
Yeah. But seriously, my wife and everybody I've sent just calls me and thanks me. They just love this doctor.
And you're taunting the rest of us. Okay. Sorry, honey. He won't.
She told my wife, thank your husband. And as soon as I have more time, I will. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And that he can send me more. But it's not that she wants to. She loves nothing more. And here's the other thing. She and her husband, they bought a building. They have their own building. Her husband's an orthopedic surgeon. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine? She's an OBGYN family medicine doctor, and her husband is an orthopedic surgeon. He's a specialist in that area. I mean, my goodness, that quite a family.
Sure.
That's quite a family there. So anyway, hey, Dave, let's get to, welcome again to Fresh Black Coffee. He's fresh, I'm black, and here and there's the coffee, okay? So in case you wondered.
Yeah. You can find us on freshblack.coffee. Coffee is actually a domain suffix.
That's his domain. Mine is freshblackcoffee.blogspot.com.
Okay.
And on Facebook, where are we on Facebook? We're on Facebook somewhere.
We're Fresh Black Coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm just ignorant. I'm ignorant of this stuff.
Yeah.
I just talk.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I don't know if any of you have heard, and any of you that listen to KTSO radio, are you familiar with KTSO? It's the new oldies.
The Eddie Huff Studios is there.
You heard it. Yeah.
We played it last week here.
Oh, did we?
We opened the show with it.
See, my mind, it's like this friend in college told me, he said, Huff, your mind is about as thick as a Wilkerson sword blade.
Some days he wakes up in a new place every 5 minutes.
I've got so much going on, I'll tell you, but
yeah, you do have a lot going on.
Too much.
Yep.
My wife's always telling me, get rid of it. I just can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't do it. I just,
Yeah, I tell my wife, I said, no, this Saturday morning thing, this is my decompress time. This is me. Get it out of my system.
Yeah. But anyway, I enjoy it. And but if you get a chance, tune into KTSO. It's 100.9 on your FM radio. And it's soft oldies.
Yeah, it's still on that preset on my wife's radio as where she used to hit to get
KXOJ.
KXOJ.
It used to be KXOJ.
Contemporary
Now it's
Christian music.
right.
Yeah.
Now it's owned by the same people.
Same company.
Same company. And that's what's so nice. It's still a Christian company that owns it and runs it and everything. And so, like when I cut my ads and spots, it's weird. Like I was at KFAQ for 8 years, and I've done radio spots at different places and for different things. And I often, struggle. I have to do my spots over and over.
Oh, yeah. Last month I heard you on KRMG doing spots on there.
Right. And usually those spots, when I do it for other stations or at other stations or in other studios, I'm always messing. But whenever I do them on KTSO, I go in.
It's the anointing. That station is anointed. There you go. Yes. Yes.
All right. Anyway, but if you get a chance, listen to KTSO radio. It's really, it'll take you back. If you're a young kid, hey, maybe you'll still like it.
Hey, I made sure all my kids
timeless.
got a good appreciation for classic rock.
Well, it's weird. My kids, they all like the older stuff too. It's funny. Yeah. There's something about it. There's certain themes in that. Let me ask you, and let me ask you at home too, and you can email it at freshblackcoffee@gmail.com, freshblackcoffee@gmail.com. And Dave, do you have an email that you would like?
Well, actually, I have the David at freshblack.coffee.
Okay, there we go. So if you want to email your comments on the question of the week is, what was your favorite decade of music? Favorite decade? 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Let's go for the last century. We won't get in for the 2000s yet, but let's just take us back. Because there was the 60s music, there was the 70s, the 80s, and 90s. Okay, how about you, Dave? What was your favorite?
70s. 70s, absolutely. Yeah, not everything in the 70s.
Right.
Disco, it's fun to bebop a little bit, but no. Groups like the classic rock, like Kansas, they were Philharmonic. They were, Boston.
Styx.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially
but
with
let me ask you a
Young
question.
Journey. Now, Journey went into the 80s, too.
Right.
But
A lot of it bled over. Right.
Yeah.
But okay, but all right, this brings up a question. What is it you, David, and many of you out there, let's say, hated about disco? What was wrong with disco? Well, for example, Staying Alive.
No, there's good stuff in disco. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's a beat that you can really get into, but then you can also tire of quicker.
To me, I never get tired of Staying Alive.
Yeah. But you understand.
That in fact, that whole album, Staying Alive, and so much, everybody was kung fu fighting. All of that stuff. See, to me, it kind of bugs me that people can get tired of music that they loved. Either you loved it or you didn't. Another one, what is the name of the band? The Canadian, their Canadian band. They were a rock band, kind of metalish, but not. Guy had a really rough voice.
Well, I don't know. There's a bunch of Creedence Clearwater Revivals.
No. We're in the 80s now. No, actually, we're in the 90s. This is they were a 90s band. Oh my goodness, what in the heck is their name? Somebody out here watching knows. They did the theme at the end of the first Spider-Man movie. Oh, Nickelback.
Oh yeah.
Nickelback. Okay, I love Nickelback. Okay. Nickelback had this edge, but it was melodic.
Yeah.
It was anthem-y music.
No, it's good stuff.
But for some reason, somebody had it out for Nickelback.
I know.
And they hated, and so they basically have drugged Nickelback through the mud, and they did the same with disco music. And so I remember, do you remember when they had the big thing at in Chicago at Wrigley Field, and they had Destroy the Disco.
Disco sucks all of a sudden became.
Well, yeah, but it was a Destroy Disco night or something, and they asked people to bring their disco albums.
Yeah.
And they all piled them in the middle and have bulldozers running over all these disco albums, just destroying this music. And or another example was Milli Vanilli. Okay.
Oh God.
Okay. Well. Okay.
Well, they're fake.
They were fake.
Yeah.
The music was not fake.
No, the music was good music.
So why did they ban Milli Vanilli music from the radio instead of bringing out the real people who did it and exposing them and making them famous?
Because the real guys didn't have the good hair. These are pretty boys on stage.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. At least honor the people who
I agree.
Who made the music.
No, but
it just drives me nuts that we're so full of animosity and venom towards this that we don't honor the good.
Eddie, do you remember the early 70s when every kitchen was avocado green and harvest gold? Or later in the 70s when everybody had paneling and burnt orange carpet?
Wood paneling, yeah.
Okay. There was a time people were so into it.
Right.
But then
leg
as
warmers.
quick as they got into
leg warmers and shag haircuts.
How much quicker they got out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the arts, not just music, but it's in visual arts. It's in everything.
Listen, I'm still a sucker for girls with shag haircuts.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, there's certain things to me, certain things either look good on you or they don't.
You're right.
The Beatles. Okay, the Beatles. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, today, and forever, Beatles music does not get bad.
Mm-hmm.
Jimi Hendrix, the Bee Gees. Okay, you can play Night Fever 100 years from now.
Yeah.
Night Fever, I get goosebumps even mentioning, thinking it in my. You can play those songs 100 years from now.
Right.
They will still be great music.
Yeah,
okay,
they were great songwriters.
They were great. It was good songs.
The Bee Gees are
could-
songwriters. That's where they made all their money.
Massachusetts, the song. You know, the Bee Gees weren't just a disco
They were
group.
big 70s folk. Yeah.
People don't realize the Bee Gees. Some don't.
Joke.
I started a joke. All of those, and then all of a sudden, when they came out with their new stuff.
Oh yeah.
In fact, when I first heard the disco stuff that the Bee Gees, I didn't even know who it was.
Right.
Until somebody said the Bee Gees.
Yeah, they reinvented
Yeah,
themselves.
they reinvented themselves. And all the way through, you know, and then Andy Gibb comes out, you know, and it's just, but why do we have to do that? I never hate or dislike something that I used to like. If I like something, I mean, I'll be honest with you, man, you're my counselor today.
Okay.
Every one of my girlfriends that I had from the 8th grade.
All 800 of them? No, just joking. Okay.
He's counting.
Yeah, I know.
No, there weren't that many.
Yeah.
But I am still friends, the ones that I know.
Yeah.
Remember, I've remained friends with every last one to this day. So, because it didn't work out,
Yeah.
you know, they found somebody else, I found somebody else, or whatever happened, I moved, they moved, you know, didn't mean I hate you now.
Yeah.
You know, I never had one of the, I did have one. There's one that turned out.
There's always a psycho chick in the bunch, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know if it was psycho or sicko or whatever. But no. But see, I'm not like that. To me, I don't get over you. I don't get over music. I don't get over this or that.
Yeah.
It's just, this is new. Oh, let me try this. This is better now.
Yeah.
Okay. But that doesn't mean I still have my high school Letterman jacket in my closet.
No.
I still love it. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
still have albums and CD. In fact, my playlist right here still has a ton of my my playlist is mainly stuff out of the late 60s all the way through the 80s.
Well, yeah, that's part of our development as individuals.
Right.
Teenagers, from adolescence in through their 20s are the most artistically drawn. When you're 50, most people, I can live with it or without it. But it is therapeutic at that age when you're young. But I want to get to your point because there is a lot of validity, and I sounded like I was dismissing it as something internal in us. We get sick of a fad. But there's something called groupthink that really impacts a young adult, a teenager. Whatever the culture's doing, I want to be with the culture. I don't want to be the odd one.
Right.
And so
that's the good part. To me, I don't see anything wrong with that, okay? I don't know. Honestly, what I don't like is if you're so into it when the culture rejects that, when the culture's, or now we're finished with that, we're moving here.
Yeah.
That's the bad. So all of a sudden the culture, let's say culture accepts, remember the Jesus movement was big at a certain point or this part of it. And all of a sudden, well, we're done with that. Now we're moving on.
Yeah.
Are you going to reject? Because if you're that moved, then you'll be so susceptible to rejecting that thing.
I'll answer that with one quote. It came from the book, This Present Darkness, Frank Peretti.
Okay.
He's at a rock concert, and he says to himself, as everybody's just so caught up in this emotions event, he says, where are we going? Where are you taking us? Because the influence of a pop culture leader in that kind of society, and that book was written in the early 80s, over a whole generation.
Oh, yeah.
Their influence. In fact, I told my son when he was 13, and I realized he was very gifted musically and as a songwriter, my oldest son, I got with some mentors, and they said, expose him to every genre.
Right.
Every genre.
Right.
When it came to rock music, I said, any band that's not currently touring, for now, I'll let you listen to that band. It's while they're touring that they incorporate social causes in identities and lifestyle causes. Once they're not touring, then it's just about the song. And I wanted him to be exposed to the song, not the cultural movements.
You know, it's funny because when we were with YWAM, we came into, we met a lot with people from L'Abri. You remember L'Abri? Francis Schaeffer.
Yes!
Francis Schaeffer had this kind of a Christian commune.
I met his wife, Edith.
Had kind of a commune in Switzerland.
Yeah.
It was this hidden thing, and it was a lot of Christian thinkers, people that were really into philosophical.
Francis wrote a
stuff.
Christian manifesto.
Yeah, he wrote a whole bunch of stuff.
Right, but that
he was
was
really quite a thinker. But anyway, so, and a couple came and spoke to us at YWAM and did a weekend with us, and we learned a lot from them. And what they did, they took a different tact, and we did the same. And so what they did, they never forbade their kids to listen to any music, band, or concerts, or so in movies. But what they did, they said, "Well, let's go together."
Yes, that was my.
So
my
they
philosophy.
went with them, and then what they would do after, they would discuss
Yes.
the good, the bad, and the ugly of, you know, what is it you liked, what is it, and they would, and their kids grew up like that, and so we did the same with our kids. We never told our kids, don't listen to hip hop, don't listen to rock, don't listen to this, don't listen to this, don't listen to that. But when we were, and our kids, therefore our kids never had to hide.
Right.
Our kids never hid.
That's absolutely.
Our
You
kids
don't
never
want to
hid
drive
what
them
they
into
would
hiding.
listen to or wanted to listen to. We knew what they were listening to, and then we would listen to it, and we would discuss, and I would check out all these bands and their ideology behind it and so forth, and then we could talk about it.
Absolutely.
And so our kids grew up, and I never sat my kids down, preached to them, and so forth. And I don't know if I mentioned this before. These friends of ours, when we were overseas, we came home. Our kids were probably between 7 and 12. And these friends' kids were like 9 and 10 or 8 and 10 or something. But anyway, they had 2 girls. And I remember our kids went nuts over watching television. Did I tell you this story?
No.
Okay. So we're at my parents' house,
Yeah.
living with them while we were in El Paso. We were in Texas visiting. So our kids, of course, you know, they don't get to see TV, cartoons, and these different kids shows. And so our kids are all crazy in a thing watching it. And so these friends come over with their kids, and I said to their daughters, "Hey, why don't you go in there? The kids are in there. They're watching some show, you know." And the mother said, "Oh, no, we don't allow them to watch television. They're only allowed to watch 3 hours a week on Saturdays." And me and my big mouth or lack of cool, I said, "Oh, really? Well, let me know how that works out for you."
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And so sure enough, down the road, one of the daughters, I mean, beautiful, great kids, beautiful, grow up. The one daughter totally goes off the rails, becomes a rebel, and gets into, you know, just essentially leaves on, gets better. The second one ends up now transitioning to become a man. So, and this was from, you know, these were the protected ones.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I've just learned that you can't protect. What it brings me to is the scripture. You and I always end up, so I've fallen into this. Anyway, in John 17, in the garden, Jesus praying, "I pray, Father, that you keep them in the world, but not of the world.
Yeah, don't take them out.
And somehow, for some reason, we can't get that through our heads.
Yeah.
We continually want to think that we can keep our kids or our congregations out of the world, but not have the world in us. And what ends up happening, the problem is the world will get into us whether we're in it or out of it.
Yeah.
By osmosis or by what we're exposed to otherwise. And that's the lesson. So it's better to have us in the world. Like, for example, when we came to America, my wife was determined and convinced my kids that they should go to Christian school. Mm-hmm. I was opposed to it. Mm-hmm. I did not want my kids to go to Christian school. Mm-hmm. Mainly because of that. Mm-hmm. I just didn't think it was the right thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not, if you chose to send your kids to private school, Christian school, okay, that's your decision. Okay, I'm not flogging you or anything. Mm-hmm. And I wrote a contract to, out.
Yeah.
I, so-and-so Huff and so-and-so Huff of a sound mind and body have chosen against my father's wishes to go to blank Christian school. Mm-hmm. And I will never, ever complain. One day. And I made him sign it.
Yep.
And they held her. They never complained.
Yep.
By their sophomore year, they were ready to leave.
Okay, so they didn't complain. Dad, I'm dropping out.
No. I suggested they leave, and they were, yes.
Yeah, okay.
They were ready. But anyway, but it's one of these things that to prepare for the world, to deal with the world, I've just found it's better to deal with it early and be taught how to deal with the world.
Sure.
From early on.
Yeah.
And be equipped rather than all of a sudden be thrust into the world. Mm-hmm. And not equipped. Yeah. Be sheltered, and then you're out there in the world, and then all of a sudden, whoa, what do I wasn't prepared for that, especially if they go away to college somewhere. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not always the case. You have some kids that are strong, and they're able to deal with it regardless. And I'm not saying Christian schools are great schools. I mean, they can be good. There's some that are horrible, but they can be good and can be great. But I'm just saying not every child is able to negotiate and navigate their way through these after they're done because they're not equipped. They're not properly prepared.
Can I give you a response? And I know you're going to want to head on here. Child development is a continual progression, right? It has its plateaus. It has its spikes. But every kid is different. That's the other point on it. Every kid's needs are going to be different. The way I disciplined one kid didn't work on the next kid. So I absolutely agree. My mother-in-law big time agrees with that. When in doubt, go with the kid, right? So I completely agree with you on that. Now, the one caveat I had is I told my kids, I don't want you going on single dates until you're 16. Both boys, because I had two boys first, by the time they're 15, wanted to see if there's any way to get Dad to change that. I had a simple way of changing it. I said, now, son, when you go on your first date, because you don't have a driver's license, do you want Mom to drive you or do you want me to drive you? Oh, I'll wait till I'm 16. Yeah. Now, the funny thing, my daughter, she loved that rule. Because emotionally, she just didn't feel ready for that pressure. Because girls are made up differently and stuff. Right. And when she told me, in fact, just last week we were talking about, she told me, she says, I was really nervous when I turned 16 because I didn't have that convenient excuse when a boy asked if I would go with him. Why do boys say, you want to go with me? They're not going anywhere. Where are we going?
Where are we going? Yeah, where are we going?
And that's the other thing. I really push my kids. Do not jump head over heels into a deep romantic relationship. Go on a date It's one date.
I think that
date another girl.
I think the term that for going with turned out to be hang out. You want to hang out.
No, in our generation, it was called going steady.
Yeah, going steady, going out, dating. Yeah, and then it turned out hang out.
And we seem to have lost something we had in the 60s. That just the social date.
Mm-hmm.
Date as one event, that's it.
Right.
And it seemed like as
Yeah,
soon
you
as you ask a
then you
girl
go
out,
steady, and then,
she thinks she owns you until she releases you.
why you want to be that way to the women? Sorry, ladies, I apologize for David, assuming that it's the woman that wants to own the guy.
Who usually does the asking out?
Today?
No, just traditionally.
Oh, traditionally it's a
been
guy.
A guy thing, right?
Right.
Okay. So when a guy asks a girl out, he then now, especially in today's society, has to let her know, hey, I'm asking you on one date. I'm not asking you to move in with me. You know.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to be clear so you're not leading anybody on. You got to avoid problems.
You don't end up with a rat in your food.
So I just said, but yeah.
Play Misty for me.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
What else we got?
All right. Moving right along.
Yeah.
Man. Hey, by the way, a notable death over the weekend, since we were talking about the music.
Boy, bunches of deaths happening all of a sudden.
Well, that's true. Here's one that people may recognize. Let's see what's going on. All right. Should be playing, but it's not. Oh, I see what's wrong. Hold on. I think I've got the wrong.
I don't know if your Bluetooth is connected. Make sure your phone is connected to your mixing board.
It's usually connected.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay, is the red button on?
No.
Oh, that red is mute. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Well,
imagine you're listening to.
Well, I'll get it figured out at some point, but I don't know why it's not working. So
should I go on to something else?
No. It's okay. We'll just have to forget it today. And once I figure out what's going on, we'll work.
But Eddie, we've had a lot of people dying pretty.
Yeah, David Crosby is one. I was trying to play one of the songs from Crosby, Stills and Nash, but for some reason my Bluetooth doesn't want to work today. But yeah, David Crosby, Crosby, Stills and Nash, passed
popular
away.
During the folk era of the early 70s.
No, Crosby, Stills and Nash is still popular today.
I'm just saying that's when they broke into the scene.
But actually, it was late 70s. Or Woodstock is what really kicked them off.
Late 60s.
Late 69, 70. What actually happened? Crosby was with the Byrds, and then they formed, and then of course. Graham Nash and he were together. Stephen Stills was with another group.
And then there was a short-lived, rocky, tumultuous involvement of Neil Young.
Yeah, he came in a little bit and then left.
He flew in and flew out.
Yeah, and then you had Crosby, Nash, just the two of them. Yeah. Stephen Stills, a whole lot of in and out. But he's always been. The song I wanted to play was Almost Cut My Hair. And the reason I wanted to play that is because he never did cut his hair.
That's classic of the era.
Right.
Because it was the late 60s, early 70s that the long hair hippie era was.
Right. Well, sounds like it may be coming.
Pick it up, though. It's not loud enough.
Cut my hair.
Bring it up.
That's as loud as it's getting.
Happened just the other day. It's getting kind of long. I could have said it wasn't in my way.
Could have said it was in my way. Anyway, that's David Crosby.
Kind of bluesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a more recognizable song.
Not getting a lot of volume. I could hear B.B. King singing this. Nice harmony.
That's what they're known for.
Oh, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
See, I like the Neil Young era because he had that high falsetto voice that added so much to harmony. They just had best harmonies, was this group. Yep.
Yeah. Neil had that really, that falsetto voice is what he added to it. So, yeah, that's why. So, anyway,
It's
just
good.
a little bit of David Crosby there, and the late David Crosby, and who is kind of
Who just last week said heaven's overrated.
Yeah, the day before he died.
Speaking of regrets.
Yeah, well, he knows now.
Yeah.
He knows now whether it's overrated or not.
Yeah.
So, hey, by the way, let's get to some stuff. Hey, I don't even know why this is an issue. Davos happened this weekend.
Yeah.
Davos, Switzerland is where all of the supposed leaders of industry and technology, they get together once a year and have this big meeting. They fly in on their private jets.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I don't know if you've seen the scenes, but there's at the airport, just this line.
1,050 parked on the tarmac.
Yeah.
For the week.
Yeah. Just jet after jet, private jet. And all of the emissions that those jets, put out. And yet they get there and talk about how, we've got to save the earth from pollution and cow flatulence and what we should eat and this and that. I mean, you talk about the epitome of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And they go on and on and on and on. And it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's truly ridiculous.
What I think I'm seeing happen in the media is this contest between speakers for who can generate the most bizarre, way out there headline. And I think that John Kerry has it. The earth is lost.
Yeah.
We've lost it.
Well, it's between him and Al Gore.
Yeah. Now, what did Al say? He said a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, boy, his is just a rehash of what he said in the 90s.
Remember, because he said 2012, the Earth's finished. We don't adopt all of my
and he's
solutions.
just lying as much as he was back then.
10 years ago.
Yeah, right. And another 10 years. And he thinks he can make up for it by yelling.
Meanwhile,
just yelling.
Scientists have said the ozone's been healing for the last decade.
Right.
The ozone hole.
Right.
It's about to be gone.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. A bunch of lying hypocrites.
Yeah.
They're just ridiculous.
The Davos thing, 10 years ago, I thought Alex Jones was nuts. He was the only guy talking about. He kept talking about this Klaus Schwab. And I thought, my God, Alex, you are grasping for something to sell as a conspiracy theory. Again, Alex Jones was ahead of his time.
Well, Klaus didn't show up this year.
Well, he showed up later. He didn't show up for the opening, but that night he was keynote speaker.
Okay, but then he must have left again. I think.
Yeah, he's in and out.
He's apparently he purposely. He and what's our friend George Soros?
Yeah,
they purposely played a real low key because they know that everybody is catching on to their game.
Yeah,
and they're trying to stay out of it. Has anybody ever fit the role of a Bond villain more than Klaus Schwab, including the name
and George Soros? They're both Bond villains.
Right. But the name And the way he looks, Klaus Schwab.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
And that was an evil German accent.
And here's what's funny, too. You could not get more anti-black than Davos.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
I saw not one black person.
Yeah. Obama didn't even go. And he's half black.
Yeah. But no one involved in anything there unless they were serving the meals, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But yet you've got all these black people buying into environmentalism.
Justin Trudeau was there, and I saw him in blackface. I'm sorry.
You mean Fidel's son?
Yeah.
No, but seriously, and black people are trying to buy into these on MSNBC and BET and all this.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get any more Nazi-ish than Klaus Schwab.
Oh, yeah.
And then George Soros, who was a Nazi collaborator, he helped the Nazis find Jews.
Yeah,
fellow
Jews.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
He sold out his kid.
But he's good. I mean, talk about hypocrisy all the way around. Now, one person did stand up to him. Believe it or not, it's crazy. Jamie Dimon.
Really?
Yeah. J.P. Morgan, he stood up. He said, we can't go this way. You cannot get this sustainability by closing down all of your, coal, your natural minerals and coal, petrol, all of this. He says, because basically you're gonna destroy civilization.
Yeah.
And he actually sat there and said this on his panel, and I'm sure there people were gasping. Yeah. But I know deep down a lot of the audience was wanting to go, yeah, he's right. Yes, hallelujah. Because
he spoke at Davos?
At Davos.
Oh, wow. See, that's bizarre.
I know. That is. He's the only person that actually had the gonads to stand up and say that he might as well have said, you people are crazy.
Because Davos is a place of groupthink.
Oh, yeah.
You don't vary from the script.
No, it is. I mean, some of the stuff people are saying was so out there, so crazy. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And to go along with that, you've heard that New York, Washington State, California, and there are a couple of others, the state governments are banning gas stoves. They've come out with a code now in these cities. Yeah. In the
New York State.
California.
Oh, yeah.
And Washington State, and I think Oregon. I think there are 4 or 5 states that have done this. They're all Democrat-run states, basically. And what they've done in their coding is, in zoning and coding, they've basically banned any new building to lay gas lines.
Oh, okay.
That's how they're doing it. So basically, when you're building a new commercial building, private building, housing area, whatever, you're not allowed to lay any gas lines.
Wow.
So it can only be electrical. Now, what's crazy about that is that it can't work, because here's the problem. There's not enough electricity. And to generate enough electricity, you will either, one, run out of water, because the hydroelectric plants are run by what? Hydro. Yep. What does hydro mean? Water. You will run out of water because the water running through these generators gets heated, and it will evaporate, and you'll use more and more and more, and you'll run out of your water. So now you're going to run into a water shortage. Drought situations will increase, and then you will have more and more blackouts because you're using more and more electricity instead of gas. Too much electricity, not enough power for too many people.
Sure.
And on and on and on and on and on.
Well, California is already rationing electricity.
Yeah, and now they're ending gas and make everything electric.
Oh my goodness,
These
Biden's
people,
in on it.
Who?
Biden.
Oh, well, no.
He's calling for...
No, he backed out. He went the other way.
No, he's calling for us to go without gas stoves for 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah,
That's a joke from Babylon.
Right, but from Babylon B. Okay, yeah, okay, thank you. But he has said, no, we are not. The federal government is not going that way. So thank goodness.
Yeah.
One thing he's got, somebody telling him, don't get involved in this. Let Newsom and his guys do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is. But these people don't think. I don't know. Mm-hmm. You talk about short side. They think that they can get elected, and then we'll let somebody in 10 years, 20 years, let them handle it, let them deal with the ramifications.
By the way, that is more confirmation, to me anyway, that Obama is really running the Biden White House. Because Obama's been coming out the last couple months with statements kind of reining in the excesses of the leftist extreme social engineering. And
you know why he's doing that?
Why?
Because Michelle's going to run.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah. But bottom line, these people are out of their minds, and they're crazy, and there's so much money invested now in environmentalism to solar, wind, all these things. All these people are really vested in this and invested in it. And they see a way to make money right now, and they don't want to back down. So the people with their heads on straight, like Elon Musk, Jamie Dimon, there are people that have basically sense. And for example, Elon says, yes, we should transition to sustainable energy, okay?
Yeah.
But we can't just get rid of everything else until we have a viable alternative.
Absolutely.
That's not going to kill, freeze us, starve us, etc.
And that's affordable.
Well, yeah. But either way, it ends up being starving us or doing something to us.
Now, the way they're doing it right now is they're just raising the prices artificially of what we are reliant on, fossil fuels.
Which ends up starving the people because they can't afford the food.
Right.
Eventually.
Rather than bringing down the price of electricity, which most of the time is generated from fossil fuels.
Did you get your electric bill this month?
I haven't looked at it.
Mine is 3 times the normal January bill.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's crazy. And we're one of, and we have a gas. We use gas heating.
Yeah, me too.
So in the winter, our electric bill is low. Yeah. In the summer, our electric bill is high, and it's crazy. Mm-hmm. Our gas bill is a little higher too, but it's nothing like the electric bill.
Yeah, and I got to tell you something. Do you get these letters where they tell you they compare your usage?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a scam.
Yeah, I know.
The reason I want to say that, for the last 20 years, every so often I'll get mail to it's a woman's name of some ethnic Hispanic. I'm the only owner who's ever owned my home, okay? For the last 20 years, for some reason, this name gets in something. I got a letter showing that I'm using 20% more than I should be or than is average. The next day, this woman who lives at my house that I've never seen for the last 20 years, she was told she uses 33% less.
Wow.
It's the same house.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
So PSO, you got caught.
Yeah. Yeah. I would take that to your city councilor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not good. Yeah. But yeah, it's all just it's just a mess. We are in a mess. And the sooner what I don't understand is how we have managed to, well, I do. It all begins with our educational system and allowing our education system to be inundated and overrun and controlled by the wrong people.
Yeah. Yep.
And hopefully, Lord willing,
you know what?
Ryan Walters and the governor and the people they've put in place can get control of it in the state of Oklahoma.
We got to get Alina Ashley back in here.
Yeah.
Our newest Tulsa
Ryan,
school board.
Alina,
Yeah.
and others. Yeah, we've got to get the right people, get them back in here and see what we can do, at least for our state.
I got another thing. I just came up with it after we started the show. I looked on the election board. In 6.5 weeks, Oklahoma's going to vote to totally legalize marijuana or not. 6.5 weeks. Have you heard anything about it?
No. And what do you think is going to happen? Yay or nay?
At this point, God, it's going to be worse than the school board elections for our show up.
Oh, I agree. I believe it's going to pass.
I think we need to get Chip Paul in. Chip wrote 788 that did pass.
Yeah, well,
Chip is not real happy about this.
I don't care. It's Chip's fault. No, I'm serious. Look, he started the snowball down the hill, and now he just has to live it. The chips must fall.
Oh, I
That
think
the
you're
chips
looking
are-
for a scapegoat.
No. Listen, trust me. I truly am not, but it's too late. You know, it reminds me, of the song, Billy Joel's song, "We Didn't Start the Fire."
Yeah.
But in this case, he did start the fire.
You know what? If we hadn't passed the one that he and other Oklahomans, friends of mine, wrote, we would by now have a far worse one.
I don't think so.
Oh, I know.
I do not think so. I think if the truth had come out and the true ramifications had ever been put forth to the people of Oklahoma of what's really involved in marijuana law or in legalizing marijuana, they would not have passed it.
Well, here's what's going on. Chip is for medical marijuana, okay? Chip had been working on some things. The problem is there's a West Coast bunch, and he and I both agree they really developed these for a get out the vote for the general election. And
he couldn't see that coming?
No. He didn't write this one. Okay? What I'm saying is, that fortunately they were able to put the 788 of 2018 on the primary election. So it didn't impact the Democrat versus Republican. But a leftist group out of California, very wealthy, millions of dollars, okay? They have been writing stuff and trying to force on Oklahoma to make Oklahoma more like a California or Washington, Oregon style legalization. Chip wrote one that's more libertarian, okay? He did not write it well. He will be the first to tell you. It was poorly written, and he really feels like we got snookered on some things because he knew what he meant. But the state regulators, such as tax commission, when he says there'll be a 7% tax on it, everybody thinks that's sales
it's like
tax.
saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know the gun was loaded when I pulled the trigger and shot somebody."
Only people on the inside who knows. They said, since he didn't say what kind of tax, we will call that an excise tax, which means now, since we can charge excise, we can also charge a full sales tax of 9%. So, Chip will admit there was a lot of mistakes, and Chip was trying to work on one to fix that. But what I'm saying is, what we're being subjected to here in 6 weeks is a California-style legalization.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, why did Joy Hoffmeister say she favors it? She says that's going to be a lot of tax money.
Yeah,
She's
for
a
our
liberal.
children, the
No,
children.
she's not a liberal. She's a leftist. A leftist has never met a tax they don't like.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and they'll use it for, the ads they'll be for the children. Think of everything it's going to do for our education and for our, for our poor and the this and the this and the this.
Yeah.
But all it's really going to do is
it'll save the earth.
the universe.
Yeah.
Listen, I have no mercy on Chip. I don't feel sorry for him. If he got snookered, he brought it on himself.
No, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't want to put words in your mouth, Chip. Last time we talked, I clearly got the indication from him that he's against this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, that'd be nice to be against it now, but
Eddie,
but it's too late. It's too late.
Eddie, if he wants to come in and tell us why we need to vote no on this, will you let him?
What is him telling us to vote no going to do more than you and I telling people to vote no?
It gives you ammunition when you're debating somebody who wants to legalize it all.
Who are we going to debate?
Our listeners.
Okay, wait, let me just say this. Okay. You're going to run into the same people that got it to this point. Okay, California money. They've been waiting because I think at the end of this year, that thing is sunset, the law that says you have to have 75% ownership in Oklahoma. You have to be an Oklahoma resident to buy a license to get a license.
The company has to be 75% owned.
Right.
The company that's getting the license.
Right. Mm-hmm. I think that ends this year.
I don't.
It ends sometime soon. It's not a perpetual. It was for a certain period of time.
Well, I will say this: there's a whole bunch of bills filed this year that get even tougher on foreign ownership on agriculture.
Right.
Which includes the growers.
Okay. Right.
Right.
So we'll see. Well, okay, but by foreign, are we talking foreign nationally or foreign state?
The individuals must be U.S. citizens.
Okay, but it doesn't say you have to be Oklahoma residents.
I don't mind.
See, that's what I'm saying.
No, if I'm going to be into it and my grandma in Arkansas wants to invest in me,
all right, but so what I'm saying is because you were talking about the millions of California dollars coming in, it's going to be the same thing. The same thing that's going on in Colorado, same thing that's going on wherever you have it. It's the same conglomerates are going to end up owning the farms. They're going to own the head shops and everything.
That's no different than the oil boom of last century brought all kinds of people to Oklahoma to get in the oil industry. Whenever you got a new industry, it's going to the gold rush. I mean,
exactly.
What's wrong?
It's going to be
what's wrong with people coming in? What's wrong with it growing our state?
Well, then what's wrong with somebody from China doing it?
Yeah, again, this is what a lot of people don't want that because of a national security interest.
What's a national security interest in marijuana?
When China owns all of our land.
No, wait a minute. No, we're not talking about
all right. They can starve
land.
us out just by not planting crops.
By not planting weed?
I'm just saying, when China, you said, what's the national security
I don't
interest?
care if China plants weed, to be honest with you.
I understand.
I'm worried about them not planting wheat. W-H-E-A-T, not W-E-E-D.
Right. My point is that farmland can grow any crop.
Right.
But and right now it might be growing winter wheat.
But they're not.
Right. But what I'm saying here is, you asked me a question, what's wrong with foreign ownership of our agricultural land?
I'm asking what's wrong with China owning our weed farms. Not wheat, weed farms.
Right. Well, that's just
as opposed to California conglomerates owning, and who knows who owns the California conglomerates. You see, this is we've opened a whole new can of worms, people, because how do we know who really owns the California people? Right
now, to say an out-of-state person can't get involved here, that was actually settled by the U.S. Supreme Court in the Tennessee winery case. When Tennessee tried to say, you have to be a resident of the state for so many years before you can get a winery's permit. And they said that's actually a violation of the U.S. Constitution. The rights of all American residents are given to everybody.
Right.
They can't treat somebody who moves here from Arkansas as a second-class citizen for X number of years. And so that was the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So,
no, I understand. But so what I'm saying is basically getting back to the original thought that I saw this coming in 2016 when I was with Pat and we were discussing this whole issue. I could see it a mile away what was going to happen if we legalized medical marijuana. Because here's my I'm back up. If it's truly medical marijuana, we should have. It was a very, very, very simple deal. Mm-hmm. Go to your doctor, give the doctor's authorization, write a prescription, and have the doctors prescribe it, and you get marijuana through a pharmacy. Mm-hmm. If you need marijuana, I want people that need marijuana, as mm-hmm. you say, some people do, mm-hmm. get it through a doctor. A doctor, not somebody that has a license, through a medical, an actual medical doctor.
Current laws, you need a doctor's recommendation.
Not a recommendation, a doctor's prescription.
Okay.
And I want the doctors to have to provide all of their patients a reason for why they wrote that prescription.
Right.
You need control over it.
Right.
That never happened.
No, the federal government banned it. It wouldn't. The federal government wouldn't allow your remedy because they made a federal law says a doctor can't prescribe. So what a doctor did was recommend, and then they tried to take away his license.
Well, okay,
Supreme Court said no. He has a freedom of speech. He has the freedom to recommend something.
I don't understand how
there's a reason they call it a recommendation, not a prescription.
See, I don't understand.
It's to get around a federal law that doesn't allow prescribing it.
But I don't understand how. Okay, I don't understand how that can get around a federal law, mm-hmm. since marijuana federally is still illegal.
Right. Well, we're trying to free up doctors from being skittish because what is a doctor going to be afraid of? Losing his license.
Exactly.
Career.
That's
why
I
HIPAA
agree.
laws are such a sham. And they've got these doctors so convinced that they can't even tell the police when somebody's suicidal or homicidal.
No, I understand. Right. So, but there should have been workarounds. That's what I would have been working on.
Yeah.
The way everything is now, we have asked for this, and we have basically set ourselves up for this from the beginning to get worse and worse and worse and worse.
We came close. We were about 5 senators short. The House already passed a workaround at Congress. And the Senate was about 5 votes short, and Biden would have signed it just simply on the banking, which Kevin Hearn supported.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so there are some things where the federal government is in no man's land because constitutionally they don't have a right to put a federal ban on it.
Have you watched Tulsa King?
No.
Okay. The first season is over. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it actually deals a little bit with some of this.
Yeah.
Actually, I love the show. I have to confess.
All right.
I love the show. It's The Sopranos meets. I don't know what it's a Sopranos West, mm-hmm. because it's the same type of mm-hmm. thing, you know. But it's
Sopranos and the High Plains.
Yeah. But the family he puts together, the group he puts together, it ends up being a mob in Tulsa. Mm-hmm. But it's like the craziest group of people he puts together, and he's fighting the New York mob, the biker gangs, and this and that. You know, it's just he's got Indians and everybody. You know, it's really it starts out kind of crazy. A lot of people didn't like it because they thought it made Tulsa look bad or whatever. But you just roll with it. It's fictitious. And then I just find out they filmed most of it in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, they did.
Which is kind of sad.
The interior shots were Oklahoma City.
Right.
But it was Tulsa skyline and certain landmarks in Tulsa.
Right. But anyway, but it deals with some of that, the whole marijuana laws, what's going on with the whole marijuana thing and all. But that's what it reminds me of. But this whole issue, it's a serious issue, and it's not just locally, it's nationally. What really I think needs to happen federally, they should make medical marijuana legal through the doctors, and then have the states, which is going to be the hard part, roll back the laws again to what we were talking about.
That is simpler than you might think. It is simply the federal government changing it from a class 1 narcotic to like a class 3 or 4. Class 5, I think, is over the counter, right? But whereas opioids are like class 3, right? A doctor can still write a prescription for opioids, but yet heroin dealers get busted; they go to prison.
Right.
So that's how simple this would be.
Yeah. See what? Here's the other stupid part that I still don't understand. Not only did they make it legal to get your license and then go, to a head shop, basically, pharmacy, or whatever you want to call them, but
dispensary,
dispensary, right?
Yeah.
But to allow everybody to have 12 plants individually, to grow. I mean, come on. Do you know how much 12 plants will allow you to put out?
6 could be flowering at one time.
Yeah, I don't care. But yeah, 6 at one time. And
I've asked around.
That's a lot of weed. That's a lot of weed.
Being a home grower is way more expensive than you might think.
Yeah.
To effectively have
initially
a reasonable harvest. There are only a few segments that you can just naturally let it once a year go into flowering.
Dave.
What?
They don't call it weed for nothing.
Right.
See, okay, you're talking high grade
high production.
No, but you're talking like what would you call it?
Well, the
5-star.
Right, the
5-star weed. If we want to get back to the days when you and I were in college or whatever, the weed where it was stems but everything mixed into a lid, okay?
Right, but the leaves just don't do it, okay? You got to have the flowering bud. You know what I'm saying? The weed grows, but the flowering takes unique conditions.
Dave, did you ever smoke marijuana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Colombian sticky bud.
Do you remember, okay, when did you smoke it? What year?
High school days.
Okay. Then when you bought, did you ever get a lid? Did you ever see the baggie? And
no,
okay.
The dealer.
There wasn't a whole lot of buds. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
Okay. We're talking stems and leaves and everything. But it did the job. Okay. Mm-hmm. We're not talking horticulture here.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You grow your weed. Mm-hmm. And we're not talking about, as in Water Boy, high quality H2O. We're not talking high quality marijuana. Okay. Yeah. If people want to just grow weed, they can grow weed in their backyard, in the woods, whatever. You throw the weed out there because weed was growing before you had weed farmers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. God somehow knows by nature how to grow weed. Okay. But I'm not talking about your hybrid, high quality. This is vintage.
Yeah.
I'm talking about weed.
Eddie, what's your favorite cut of pork?
Bacon. I don't have a
Come
favorite.
on, bacon, right?
No.
Okay, for me.
No, a Wiener Schnitzel.
Well, for me, it's the bacon.
Well, good.
Well, you know what? You can go feral hog hunting and you won't get any bacon. Because in order to get bacon, you got to have hog on a farm fattened up by a farmer. It takes special condition.
Don't you love these little sides?
To grow the bacon.
We get
and
into
in the same way, if you really are serious about growing marijuana for consumption, something like you buy at your dispensary, you're going to have to get a bunch of lights.
I just want to get high.
Yeah.
I don't need to go to dispensary. Just let me grow my weed in my house and then be happy.
See, here's the only, who would have thought it? You got to be 21 to buy grocery store 3-2 beer, but only 18 to buy the most potent marijuana. In Oklahoma.
I know.
I'm going to have to get out soon. So
no, I know we both do, but yeah. So to end the conversation, basically, Oklahoma screwed up like Colorado and California. And with California and Colorado, there's probably no putting the genie back in a bottle.
Yeah.
I don't know about Oklahoma, if we can put it back in there either.
Yeah. But
and this vote is coming up in 6 weeks, you say? I think we're going the other way. I think it'll pass.
Eddie, if we don't want it to pass, which I don't, you don't, we got to start talking about it.
Yeah,
We got to start getting people mobilized.
Vote no. What's the bill number?
Oh, it's a state question.
Or a state question. What's the state question?
It's the only one I know of. It's March 7th.
March 7th
is election day.
Okay, March 7th election. Read your questions, please.
Yeah.
Okay, and if it says marijuana, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Or if it tells you, do we need to ban or anything like that, just read the question.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll talk about it before time. Okay. Hey, overly aggressive medical examiners and lie detector tests are keeping the U.S. Border Patrol from hiring members. We can't hire enough Border Patrol. One reason we have a shortage of Border Patrol members is because the applicants are being subjected to these super aggressive examiners and lie detector tests. And we're talking ex-military personnel and other government officials being asked these questions on lie detector
so
tests.
So it's easier to get hired as an FBI agent than a Border Patrol cop.
Apparently, yeah. And to get into the military. Yeah. In fact, you've heard probably they dumbed down the military entry levels to get but the Border Patrol, which shows they really don't care about. They really want to keep it small so they can let these people in. But this is just crazy. And as a ramification of not having enough people to patrol and protect our borders, New Yorkers and Californians are fleeing their states still in high numbers, and taxes and crime are the main reasons. Florida is right now the fastest growing state, and it's all of the New Yorkers, what we used to call snowbirds. The snowbirds have landed and nested now in Florida. They're not going back.
Right.
So New York is hurting, and Texas is right behind them with all the Californians fleeing, and eventually they're going to come to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We're already seeing some. Some are settling here in Oklahoma. Texas, of course, they like because there's no state taxes. But if you go to Dallas anytime, you'll see why Texas is not.
No income tax, but by God, the property taxes are
the tolls.
Yeah.
The tolls around Dallas, it's just unbelievable. I could not, when I went down there a while back, I could not believe every road, every major road and highway is a toll.
Yeah.
In the Dallas area. It's just never seen anything like it. It's crazy.
I got a consumer bulletin on that. Oklahoma is now moving to plate pay on our tolls. Still get a pike pass. And I'll tell you why. The new Berry Hill bypass. If you have pike pass, the segment I drive to get to my kid's house is 30 cents. But if I use plate pay, it's like 80 cents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The plate pay people.
That's a huge.
Plate pay people are going to pay double.
Wow, that's not a dime.
And Pike Pass is just simply you put $40 in escrow with them.
We have them on ours. Yeah,
absolutely. So anyway, that's a little bit of consumer news.
Another bit of news: formerly gay Christian charity worker on the island of Malta. Okay, he's facing possible jail time now for speaking out against the lifestyle. Matthew Grech. He spoke about his conversion and leaving the lifestyle on Fox News, and the police served him with court papers.
Good God.
I know. He faces fines and prison. So here's a guy who was gay, living the gay lifestyle. He got saved, came to the Lord, and he talked about it on Fox News, and now they're considering putting him in jail and fining him for speaking out. Saying that he came out of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. This is where we are, people. This is where we are.
Gone full Nazi? Mall of America.
Oh,
Last week, a guy had
a
Jesus Saves shirt. Just flat out. It's a statement. Jesus Saves. They ordered him, it's on video,
Take your shirt off.
you have to take it off or leave because you are
Offending someone, apparently. I mean,
you are soliciting.
he wasn't soliciting. Who's it? What is he soliciting?
Exactly.
Soliciting.
But these mall cops,
he's making a statement.
not police officers, mall cops, accuse them of soliciting. Debbie and I used to always go there, especially when the kids were teenagers on our way back from visiting Grandma at Christmas. Yeah, no more.
No,
more.
no. Not only
done.
that. Here's the thing: Mall of America, if I'm not mistaken, is owned by the same people. I don't want to get this wrong. Check it out, but I think
You've heard. You're safe. You say I've heard that.
I've heard that it's the same people that own Woodland Hills.
Simon.
Simon.
Okay.
I think it's Simon Malls.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Simon's the biggest one.
Yeah. So I would
wouldn't
check it
surprise
out.
me.
But if they need to pay. Whoever owns them, they need to pay. You need to boycott because those stores and things that you find at these malls, you can find somewhere else.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Even if you like a shop that's in there, call and say, hey, do you have any other locations in the Twin Cities area? Because I ain't going back there.
Right.
And that's how you
we have to
fight
fight
this commercially.
You know, I used to hate Sean Hannity would say, I'm not for boycotts. I don't boycott. No, you boycott because that's what the other side does.
That's because he lives in a glass house.
But that's what the other side does to you, and that's how they win.
That's the only way they could take Sean off the air is by boycott. That's why.
You think that's what it is? Yeah. But anyway, no. We have to fight fire with fire.
Yeah, by the way, speaking of boycotts, report this week is Twitter advertisers have dropped 40% of ad revenue now. The woke left corporations are trying to take down Elon Musk.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. But I think it was worse.
Yeah.
I think it's coming back.
Yeah.
It's coming back because they're realizing. I think he's increased the subscription or the people that have signed up is like increased like 400-fold.
In real people, not bots.
Right, in real people, and that's just too much.
Yeah.
Because as the sponsors drop out, new ones will take their place. Oh, I have room now? Okay, and it's cheaper? Oh, yeah, I'm there. So, hey, did you see the video of this guy? It was a young punk, stole a car, and he went down an alley, and there was a lady pushing a baby in a stroller, and he tried to run her over. Wow. I mean, he specifically went over and the lady picked up the stroller and turned and fell on his hood, and as he tried to avoid, because he went all the way against the wall, and he came out, and she fell over, and as he was trying to get away, a guy in a pickup truck just nailed him head on and drove him into a pole, which was beautiful. And he was arrested.
Wow.
But this is Los Angeles. Within months, they let him out. He went to juvenile home. He was underage or something. Well, street justice. Mm-hmm. He was let out. He was gunned down on the streets of L.A. Wow. Somebody just drove up and just shot him dead right on the street and took off. Wow. And they don't know who did it.
Wow.
Yeah. So... that's all right. There's a part of me and others that says it's poetic justice, more than poetic. This is something we wanted to talk about. It's a strange story. A Navy SEAL, Daniel Smith, he was killed in Ukraine, and he was a Navy SEAL, but he was declared a deserter in 2019. Now, my question, I asked you this earlier, David. Do you think that he was a deserter, or do you think he was undercover? Do you think he was a SEAL operating as
First of all,
unofficially?
A certified, trained, experienced naval SEAL is a very expensive asset, very valuable to this government.
I agree.
Do you really think that it's been, 4 years now, and they still haven't found him? Yeah. Seriously?
Yes.
Or do you think he was running a Benghazi annex type mission where the government wanted deniability?
Yeah, Mission Impossible.
Jason Bourne.
Yeah. Yeah, we just didn't deny. Yeah.
That's what I think.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I agree. The sad thing is for his family that he's being declared a deserter.
Yeah.
They can't collect they can't collect unless it's, under the table.
My brother was involved in a deal like this. He was pretty young, just joined, enlisted man, in the Air Force as security police stationed in Wiesbaden. You know where that is. Mm-hmm. West Germany at the time
Air
it was
base.
called. And he called us up one day, middle of the night our time, said, I'm being transferred. It's happened in a strange way. And if you need to get a hold of me, you're going to have to go through the Red Cross. They'll be the only one if there's a family emergency or anything. And he finally, when he's able to come home on leave, he told us what happened. He got in the plane for his transfer, said to Italy. As soon as the plane took off, he was stripped of all of his U.S. military, was given a generic uniform, no nation, nothing. And all of a sudden, he sees he's flying over the Mediterranean. Eventually, he lands in a nation that he later realized was Egypt. And he landed in a Russian military base that the Russians had been kicked out of in Egypt. And his job was to secure the perimeter of his base, him and about 13 other guys that were security police. They weren't training in a mission, but they were supposed to be secret. Within a few months, a rescue attempt of the hostages in Tehran took place. He was one of the last to leave. But none of those guys had anything indicating they were American personnel. And in fact, people back at Wiesbaden were just told he was transferred to some other base, but never got there.
Right.
That's how the government operates.
So were the Russians on our side on that deal?
Oh, God, no. No. In fact, he was so afraid because that mission was sabotage. Security was leaked. He knew it was leaked. He saw leaks, and he went to his commanding officer, and they sealed everything down, and they rushed. That mission wasn't supposed to happen for another week or two. They had to rush it because they knew there were security concerns. But he knew. He said, I was the last one to leave. There was one pallet, couldn't get on the plane. So two of us had to sit on the tarmac for 8 more hours. We were the last 2 Americans to leave. He said, I was scared for my life that the Russians were going to come and bomb us. But so this is how our military operates.
Yeah,
we have some missions where, and sometimes they will do contractors like the guys at the annex in Benghazi. But sometimes they'll just say, we don't know what happened to him. Yeah. If you find him, let us know. We're looking for him. Yeah, right. Anyway, that's me. What do you think?
No, I think same thing. Navy SEAL disappears in 2019 as a deserter, and all of a sudden he ends up being killed. In fact, remember, what's his name? Biden said we have troops in Ukraine.
Yes.
He even said we have them there.
Yeah. And even when he's in Poland, he says, now, when you get to Ukraine, the idiot. Yeah. In fact, Mark Wayne Mullen sat in this chair and told us, he says, Biden ruined a chance for a peace deal by making that statement. Yeah. And so, yeah, absolutely. I think they're screwing up.
Hey, we've got another, what's his name that had the knee on his neck, that killed in
George Floyd.
George Floyd. We got another George Floyd. His name's Elijah McClain. Yeah, Elijah McClain was arrested. Police officers. He was just basically minding his own business, and as police officers, I don't know what the deal is. There, they inject them with some drug. To make, I guess they figure it's better than kneeling on their neck. And so they injected this guy with something, and he died. Oh. And so now they've charged these cops with 32 counts of criminal negligence, including manslaughter, for killing this guy because they put too much of whatever this drug was in this guy. I mean, that's just stupid. This was in Denver, Colorado. I mean, the George Floyd deal, first of all, I don't care. I keep hearing, especially, I love Greg.
Gutfeld?
No, on Newsmax. I can't think of it.
Greg Kelly.
Greg Kelly.
Yep.
I love him. I love his show. I think he's funny. I think he's good.
Yeah.
But he is always, trying to cover for the cops in Greg Floyd. I mean George Floyd case and stuff like that. No, I'm sorry. There's times when police mess up and they need to be called on.
Yeah.
Now I don't know.
Well, Greg's dad was police commissioner.
Yeah, in New York City. Yeah, no, he was a great commissioner. I mean, those were the good days. No, listen, I back the blue. I'm support, but you have to be willing to call bad cops bad cops. And by bad, I don't mean corrupt or evil cops. I'm just stupid, dumb. In every level of society, you have people that just make mistakes. They're dumb. They, for whatever reason, they're wrong. Okay, they're wrong. And that was a wrong thing.
Yep.
I don't care. I couldn't believe on Facebook, and I still can't believe today, that anybody thinks it's okay for somebody to be on the ground and for me, 250 pounds, basically, let's say, to have my knee on your neck.
Yeah.
And, anybody that says, oh, there's nothing right. Well, here, come here. Let me put my knee on your neck and rock back and forth and talk to somebody over here while
Some friends of yours lost their son that way, the Elliot Williams case. I talked to the chaplain at there. He said a 300-pound deputy with Owasso, while they were trying to book him into jail, had his knee on his neck. And what did we find out? He had a broken spinal cord in his neck. And it was 20 minutes later, the swelling got so bad that he collapsed. And they thought he faked it, and then they starved him to death because they wanted to catch him faking it, set his food just out of his reach. I'm sorry, we're getting off of that.
Yeah.
But
but that's what I'm saying. So at some point, someone has to pay the cost for the mistakes. Sadly,
absolutely,
the good cops, unfortunately, have to pay the price until we start nailing the bad cops.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
Right.
If you're not going to get the bad guys, then the good people are going to pay the price. So we have got to start calling bad. Right. Call it a mistake, call it an error, call it whatever. But you've got to start admitting when someone screwed up. And in this case, Elijah McCain, the good news is they know they made a mistake. Okay. We know they injected him with some chemicals and they were trying to get him subdued. Okay. First of all, that's stupid. I don't know why they got the wrong guy. It was a mistaken arrest. First of all,
oh my God!
Yeah,
he wasn't even
that's
guilty.
No. That was a mistake. And then they inject him with this stuff.
Well,
he had a mask on because of COVID.
Yeah,
that's another thing. And so he dies. So there's a price to pay.
No.
And the entire police force now and the nation, because it's another Black Lives Matter deal. It just pours more fuel on that fire, and I hate it. I'm so tired of this whole Black Lives Matter BS that I just can't.
I gotta say, Eddie, though, this didn't come from nowhere. It's considered the more humane way to treat unruly people in a mental health facility.
What, the drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was not crazy. No, this is just ordinary procedure.
I understand that, but I'm gonna now say how it differs. In a hospital where you're given a sedative if you become unruly and endanger yourself or others, then a sedative is given by a medical professional with experience.
Oh, no, I understand that.
They're letting cops take the role of a medical professional.
Yeah, and the dosage was wrong. It was too big of a dose for the guy's weight.
Because they're not a medical professional.
Yeah, it's so much per weight was supposed to. And what are you doing that anyway?
Well, and in a hospital, you have all your equipment, your treatment, because sometimes this kind of thing can happen in a hospital, but you've got the life-saving equipment right there, and you've got trained professionals who know how to look for signs that, oh my God, maybe we gave him too much.
Yeah. Hey, a couple of quick things. Alleged Chicago Transit Authority train robbers, a guy trying to rob people on a train, and a concealed carry holder in Chicago. I didn't know you could give them, but it must be hard, but you can. Well, the victim actually shot the robber. So there are good stories. Yeah, so that's some good news.
We got Bernie Gates.
Yeah.
Go back to the 80s stuff.
Yeah,
Bernard Gates was.
I want to say this. Ukraine has been trying to get some of our tanks.
Yeah.
They've been trying to get tanks.
Yep.
We won't give them to them. And so now then they went Germany. They wanted to go for this Leopard tank.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Germans said, no, they're not going to do it. So if Germany's not going to give them any tanks, we don't want to give them tanks. I'm sitting arguing with certain people on Twitter now.
Yeah. Now, the standard on that is, and Poland's been the thoroughfare. We tell Poland, give them to Ukraine and we'll replace them. And that way, Biden said, I never gave Ukraine any tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gave them to Poland saying, here's for the ones you
Well, see, that's what Poland is looking at, giving the German Leopard 2 tanks,
right,
even without Germany's approval.
Yeah.
And Germany's saying, we don't know. Because, see, here's the problem. You may think that's cool. You may think that's okay. But how's Russia going to look at it? So are you think we're stupid?
Germany's gone Switzerland.
We sell them to Poland,
and
in Poland, it's not Germany doing it, and Russia says, no, we don't care. They're German tanks. You're saying it's just a backdoor deal.
Yep.
We're going to get you. So anyway, Germany has suggested would not agree to send its tanks until the U.S. does the same. So Germany is waiting for us to send our tank, our Bradley tanks. The M1 Abrams, the Abrams tank, to the Ukraine.
Yep.
And but we're not doing it because we're saying maintenance and training, although that's a big thing where Nathan Dahmer is involved. You're familiar with that,
yes,
right? Where they're trying to get us to train them here at Fort Sill. And
I didn't do this when you had Greg Kelly says he always quotes Trump talking about fake news.
That was false and fake and never happened.
My son gave me this for a birthday present.
This fake news was indeed fake news.
I'm sorry. I just got to play with my toys.
Yeah. Elon Musk Friday was admitted suffering major side effects.
Oh, no.
He received a second COVID booster.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He indicated was obligatory on account of his business travel. They wouldn't let, wherever he was going, they required it. But he said it was pretty bad. Rasmussen reports published recently asserted that the apparent prevalence of vaccine side effects and majority desire for congressional investigation on how the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention handle the vaccine safety. So apparently a lot of people have been, we know, primarily the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines have injured a lot of people. The Johnson & Johnson, that's the one that hasn't. Because it's
blood clots.
It's a real one. I mean, it's a real vaccine versus the, what do you call it? MD?
mRNA.
mRNA, yeah.
Where it tells your genes to produce a spike. Johnson & Johnson just gives you a bunch of spike proteins.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Natural.
And that's what I had.
Right.
It does make you more susceptible to blood clots, but not so much the other things, the heart attack stuff. Right. And by the way, this came out today. Dr. Malone, famous patent owner of the mRNA, who's very against the COVID vaccines, he just said, I will not support Trump in 2024 unless he disavows his support of that vaccine rollout that rushed it. Because Donald Trump lately he's kept quiet, but boy, for the last a couple years ago, very proud of what he did getting that vaccine out.
Well, yeah, but see, at that time, everybody was supporting him in the speed at which he was working on finding a cure.
Oh yeah, we all
because nobody. See, this is again, the music was great, Nickelback was great.
Yeah.
Bee Gees disco was great, but now
we all said, just ignore those safeguards. Let's just roll it out. And now
but what did Trump do though? He came out with the freedom to try. That's all he did. It was no mandatory anything. In fact, it still exists. If you're a cancer patient with terminal illness and you want to try experimental treatment, he wants to give you the right to try.
Right.
He's not telling you to try.
Donald Trump did not mandate it for anyone.
He did not mandate anything for anyone. He just said, if it works, if you want to try it, do it. He totally wanted, but now everyone is wanting to turn on him and turn that into, well, it's Trump's deal. Trump's the one who did it. Trump didn't do anything except try to speed up a process to bring healing. This is what gets me about people in a short memory. We've got a few things more. Dave's got to leave. And
next week, we're going to talk about the craziest bills coming out of the Oklahoma Senate. This Tuesday, if you're in Tulsa County, get your precinct caucuses. Call the Republican headquarters for details. Oklahoma County folks, it's the following to the 26th. Next Saturday is yours.
All right, everybody. Have a good weekend and a good week, and we'll see you next week.